Okay, so for this video journal, we were asked to find some examples of media bias, and we have to explain why the examples represent media bias and choose the type of media that best represents each, as discussed in class and written about in your text, and why. So the first example of media bias I chose was the Kristen Stewart Robert Pattinson scandal, and I chose this because in a few of the articles, namely the one that I chose was the Huffington Post, you can really tell that the author or the person that wrote this article seems to use words that, what's the word I'm thinking of, that specifically try to make Kristen Stewart look bad. And like the beginning of the article states, Kristen Stewart may have alienated her Twilight co-stars when she publicly cheated on her on-screen and off-screen boyfriend Robert Pattinson. So words like alienated her co-stars and publicly cheated on her boyfriend, that is kind of like the words that the author of the article chose are, they have negative connotations and they're a little harsh. You can tell that they're trying to make it sound bad. And so this is kind of propaganda bias, which is when a story is reported with the deliberate intention of making the case for a particular policy or point of view without explicitly stating it. So although the author does explicitly state that Kristen Stewart did cheat on her boyfriend, it does it in a way that's saying like, oh, these are the facts, but it's not doing it in an unbiased way. So the other media bias that I used was it was about the fiscal cliff offer that Obama did, and the title of the article is Joe Scarborough Hammers Fiscal Cliff Offer. Was it necessary for Obama to be so provocative? So that's that was a quote from Scarborough, and basically what this article does is it explains why Joe Scarborough was hammering the White House, and he was just really against the fiscal cliff offer, which basically asked for $1.6 trillion in tax increases for the wealthiest 2% of Americans over 10 years. And there are quotes in this article from Scarborough who says, "It was a non-starter and they knew it was a non-starter. Richard Wolff, my question to you is why did the White House decide to have this as their opening volley when they knew the response would be a negative one that they drew?" So this article does a lot of quoting, and I think that this also might be propaganda bias as well, because it's not explicitly stating that this fiscal cliff offer was a bad way to begin, but they're using many of Scarborough's quotes to get the point across that this fiscal cliff offer was a non-starter. And Wolff agreed that it was a hardball offer in the first stage of talks, but that there will be a Republican counteroffer. And he uses words like insulting and reckless, and asks if it was necessary for the president to be so provocative, which I think is a really harsh word to use. So I think that this article, with using all the different quotes, definitely is biased in that way, kind of agreeing with Scarborough because of all of the quotes that the article uses. So those are my examples of media bias, and basically what I came to learn from doing this research is that bias is everywhere. Almost any article you read has some sort of bias involved. It's just a matter of kind of discerning between the different types of bias, which I had no idea there were so many types until class. And also, it's really interesting to like pick up on it once you actually start looking for it. So I thought that that was really cool and interesting to like get the point of view of the author without even realizing that they're putting their own point of view in, because it's so subtle in different ways. So those were my examples of media bias.